Hello Internet, I haven't actually made an intro yet. Yeah, that'll... Do you like old action-adventure games like the Zeldas? Or RPGs like the Final Fantasies? If yes, then Evoland is one of the many games standing on the street corner of Steam, vying for your attention. It begins in humble pixel art with nothing but the ability to move to the right. Then you unlock moving left, then moving in 4 directions, then scrolling areas, then sound effects, a weapon, enemies, music, color, world maps, random battles, towns, 3D graphics, and holy crap, this is so cool! The ever-evolving game is like an interactive museum exhibit, presenting the history of video games as a video game. If you grew up playing the games of old, watching them change in leaps and bounds as time and technology progressed, Evoland could probably serve up some very heavy nostalgia. Bonus points for RPG fans, as that's where Evoland draws most of its cues. This is a magnificent idea, one I would love to see applied to other genres. It's got a ton of potential, and combined with some excellent presentation, makes Evoland a delightful experience and a real sight to behold. Is what I was going to say until I realized the game's one major problem. The part where it's a game that you're supposed to play. Evoland is kinda boring. Oh sure, the gimmicky part is cool, but when the game stops changing before your very eyes and you're actually expected to play it, there's really nothing to it. For example, the turn-based battles have no room for strategy. All you do is have the little guy attack and the little girl heal on every turn the entire game, and you will win every single battle that is actually winnable. The classic RPGs had party members with varied abilities. You could exploit enemy weaknesses, power up your party to debilitate your enemies, you could mix and match party members with varying playstyles to get a party that is entirely your own. You could do stuff like cast Reflect on your party members and bounce the magic off their faces to do extra damage to the enemy. You could be clever because there was variety. You could strategize. Evoland attempts to play off your nostalgia without actually delivering on what made the genre good in the first place. What about the action-adventure stuff? Same problem. Gameplay that is all pretty basic and repetitive. There was one area where you start switching between the 2D and 3D game worlds as a little time travel puzzle, and that was actually pretty interesting and got my hopes up. But it only lasted for a couple minutes, and then it was thrown out the window, never to be seen again, in favor of a Diablo-style level. Oh boy, the Diablo level. What was memorable about Diablo-style loot games? Loot, lots of enemies, and ridiculous boss fights as far as I'm concerned. Evoland does give you loot, and it's all useless. It doesn't help you in any way. All you get are little joke descriptions. It's kind of missing the entire point of the loot. It's not a game mechanic in Evoland, it's just their attempt at just poking you in the ribs, just going, hey, get it? Do you remember Diablo? It's vaguely annoying. Evoland does swarm you with enemies and give you a big, ridiculous boss fight, and only gives you a 3-hit melee combo to fight it off with. None of the ranged attacks or cool magical shit, status effects, or any of the cool abilities that you got in Diablo-style games that let you actually manage the big crowds they are throwing at you. No, all you do in Evoland is run around in circles, mashing the attack button, waiting for the boss to summon more little flying bat things that you can kill for a health drop, because for some reason, I can't use the 50 fucking potions that I have sitting in my backpack right now. Why? It's just kind of frustrating and boring, and it takes way longer than it should considering how simplistic it is. All told, the game is a short 2 hours. It was clever and interesting for a while, but the gimmick wore itself out quickly, and all that's left are the most basic forms of the gameplay styles they are trying to emulate. Oversimplicity aside, I would still be willing to recommend Evoland on the strength of its idea and presentation alone, if it wasn't being sold for $10 at the time of this recording. It's clear that a lot of effort and creativity was put into the game, and I don't want to short the developers money for their efforts, but I don't know if there's enough content to warrant that price point for everybody. Maybe if you're really into the two genres, I don't know, make it a judgment call on your own. I love this idea to bits. I just wish I could see it more fleshed out. I wish I could see Evoland on a budget. Ah, well, a guy can dream. Anyway, Shiro Games, I am going to keep an eye on you. You've got talent on you somewhere, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Here's hoping your next work is something I can get behind with no reservations. I honestly want to see what else you can do. Oh, good! They have Triple Triad in there. Because Lord knows you can't recreate the true Final Fantasy experience without Triple Friggin' Triad. Oh.